Let's talk about the Grammy Awards. Why do we, as Africans and African music artists, idolize the Grammy Awards? Do we suffer from what I call the Western validation syndrome? Look, don't get me wrong. Winning an award is nice. Being recognized for your craft is nice. And more so, being recognized, outside your country and outside your continent must feel twice as nice. However, the uncomfortable truth is African music does not need the Grammy Awards. It is the other way round. The Grammy Awards need African music. It is time to decolonize the definition of African music success. This is a very lengthy conversation, but I'll keep it as short as possible. Between 2019 and 2021, I had the opportunity to conversate with numerous musical artists across the African continent, especially with Ghanaian music artists. The ones that have found their niche with a solid fan base, and the ones that are only beginning their musical journey. And one chord struck through all of our conversations. They all want to win a Grammy. They all want to win a Grammy. To be honest, I was left in awe because I kept asking myself, is winning a Grammy the pinnacle of musical success, especially for African music artists? I'm not saying these out of naivety. Obviously, winning an award, especially outside your continent, throws more light on your craft, makes you visible. It opens doors for you, gives you some opportunities you may never have or never had, or opportunities you never thought about. But the syndrome of African artists, getting frustrated, getting angry, getting annoyed on missing out on even the nominations or on missing out on the award itself is crazy. To me, I find it very crazy. Now let's think about this. African artists are already selling out arenas globally without Grammy nominations or recognition. African artists are already topping charts in numerous or multiple countries without Grammy nominations or validation. African music is influencing global pop music in ways that can never be denied. African music acts are building sustainable, profitable careers without the involvement of Western industry gatekeepers in any way. So why on earth are we begging for validation from an American award scheme? Why? African music is thriving on its own terms. So much so that the global music industry has realized they cannot ignore Africa. They can't afford, to ignore Africa. Why? Because African music is commercially and culturally dominant. It's as simple as that. Because African music is culturally and commercially dominant, that's why the Grammy Award scheme thought it wise to introduce the newest category, which is the Best African Music Performance category in 2024. And even with the introduction of that category for African music or African musical artists, you come to realize that the Grammy Award scheme does not reflect the full musical length and breadth of African music. Why is my big mouth saying that? Africa has got over 50 countries. And so if you're introducing a category naming that Best African Music Performance, and then you only nominate 5 artists from the same country, then, it says a whole lot. There are other African music genres, like the bongo flavor. We've got high life, we've got hip life, we've got, Francophone music genres. So how come the Grammys, missed out on all of these, from other countries, And so that's why I think, in my opinion, I think that as an African music artist, your major focus is to focus on your craft, focus on yourself, focus on churning out relatable music, focus on, maintaining a very strong fan base. Even if it's only 3 people you have as core fans, your whole, musical, career should focus on, doing something for these fans, feeding them with the right music, with the right information. And so I'm going to leave you with a speech Drake, put out on a Grammy stage in what happened to be his last, Grammy award. Enjoy.
You've already won if you have people who are singing your songs word for word, if you're a hero in your hometown. If there's people who have regular jobs who are coming out in the rain, in the snow, spending their hard-earned money to buy tickets to come to your shows, you don't need this right here, I promise you. You already won.